What's up, folks? I'm Dwayne,
I'm Alicia.
and this is Blackboard Gaming, where we teach you about all these great board games that are out there.
Waiting to be played by you and yours.
I'm a simple man, don't wanna complicate complication.
Hey, everybody!
Welcome to our July board game wrap-up / GenCon wrap-up.
So, the beginning of August, the International Special Olympics were held here in Detroit, and my job was contracted to cater this event. So I was working like around the clock. We were just making sure that we supplied them with the food. So this is why this video is going up a little later than I usually post it. But also, like, GenCon was this past weekend, and I was already bummed that I would not be able to go to GenCon. So at the last minute, like, I had Sunday off. At the last minute, I said, hey, let's hit GenCon on that last day. So we jumped in the car. Indianapolis is only 4 hours away, and we jumped in the car, went to GenCon. So we're gonna tell you about the games that we played in the month of July. Now, I usually do this video on my own, but most of the games that I played in July, I played with my wife. You know, we played a total of 13 games, and 7 of those I played with her. And so I invited her to let's talk about some of these games.
Okay.
You know, also, she went to Gen Con with me. So she's definitely going to be part of that.
Okay.
You know, so first we're going to talk about the games that we played in July.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Ready.
All right. So the first game that we played, and we're not going to spend a lot of time on all of them, you know, so because you've heard about some of these games already. Now, the first game we played is Guild of Merchants Explorers.
Okay. Yes.
Now, we're doing a video on that one, so we're going to save our thoughts on that one on that video.
Okay.
All right. You know, I already love the game, but we want to see what she thinks about it.
Okay.
You know, now, the next game we played, she wanted to play a couple games, so we ended up getting Cascadia back to the table.
Okay, so one of the challenges with doing this channel is a lot of times we play new games and I don't get to play games that I haven't played and enjoyed. So one of the goals I had this summer was I just want to play some games that I like. So I just enjoyed Cascadia and we played it. And it was great.
Yeah, Cascadia is such a beautiful game.
It is.
That's a great game to introduce. You know, we
Yes.
know that. So we love Cascadia. The art, Beth Sobel art, you know, we love that game. And we had fun. I think
fun.
you won, you know.
Did we play more than once?
I think we did.
I think it was 1-1.
Yeah, it was 1-1.
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
Now, the next game we played was Pioneer Days.
Yes. So that's another game that I enjoy playing and I haven't been able to play. So we played Pioneer Days and it was a blast.
Yeah, so I mean, when I first was trying to get her into board gaming, Pioneer Days was one of the first ones like that I got her to try because she likes to think, you know, she grew up watching like Little House on the Prairie and those type of shows, and she played the Oregon Trail, you know. So I was like, when I saw this game, I was like, all right, this is a game I could draw her in. And I said that this is probably my favorite dice drafting game. And once I said that, I started thinking about other dice drafting games that I really enjoy. And you know, this is actually my favorite one because the theme. I love the theme. I love the fact that, you know, when you draft the dice, that dice that's left over could cause a shootout or cause some famine or disease, and everybody got to be prepared. So you can actually set it up where somebody gets messed up. You see that they ain't got a lot of medicine on their wagon, and you could like, disease. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah, we had fun playing with that one.
Well, I think for me, what I really love about Pioneer Days is I really do like the theme.
Yeah. So yeah, we played that one. So what was the next one we played? Well, actually, the next games we played was on the cruise.
Yes.
Okay.
So we played Floriferous quite a bit on the cruise. I love Floriferous. I love it because it's strategic, it's pretty, and it makes sense to me. Some games that are puzzly are a little bit more abstract, but because Floriferous for me isn't abstract, it's just easier for me to figure out what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, she always like let's play Floriferous, you know. And so the thing is, we played it 7 times on the boat. And so the first we played 3 times on our own, and then we were playing on the library that was on the cruise ship. And this young couple came up, and they were like, "What are you playing?" You know, and we explained it to them, and we invited them to, "Hey, we'll teach you this game." And so we ended up playing twice
With them.
Yeah.
And then an older couple, we ended up playing a couple of times with them too. So yeah, we did get a lot of playthroughs of Floriferous. We also played, what was that?
Wait, before you go, I have to say, Floriferous, you know what I love most about Floriferous?
What?
It is low-key cutthroat.
If you want it to be.
No, it happens. It's going to happen because when you choose that card, you can hear the groans around the table, and you know it is not cutthroat where you're doing it on purpose.
Well, some people do hate draft though.
Yeah. What's their name? Robert and
Judith.
Yeah, Judith did hate draft her husband or her boyfriend.
No, it was her husband.
It was her husband?
Yeah.
Okay. So, her partner. Let's put it that way. All right. So, anyway, what was the next game you were about to say?
Was it Tree Line Avenue?
Tree Line Avenue.
All right, so that game was fun. Not a Floriferous though.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, so the first time we played it, was taught to us, and we were trying to understand the scoring, how to score and everything. So I brought it on the boat because it's really small. I mean, you pretty much can put this game in your pocket.
Yeah.
And we tried it again, and now we understand the scoring. And it's a pretty game. I do like the art style, and it has like how you choose the cards. If you choose a card at the top, now you're going first or whatever. I like that. It's the same thing in Floriferous.
Yes.
So we did enjoy that one, But like you said, it's not, it's Floriferous got to beat. All right, so the next game we played was back here at home, Transmissions.
Okay, yes. So, Transmissions is it's a cute game. Now, it took me a minute to kind of get the hang of it. But I enjoyed it after I got the hang of it. The tricky thing about Transmissions is, when you play the more traditional games like Sorry or whatever, you roll a dice, you get a 4, and you just move those 4 spaces.
Yeah.
So with games, these newer genre of games, you don't get to just say, I want to move 4, I want to move 3. You have to figure out, okay, I want to get here, so you have to figure out which robot,
which card.
So you have to do a lot more thinking to figure out how to get where you're trying to go. The thing I think I like the most about Transmissions is it's a point salad. It's a lot of ways to make points, and I always enjoy games where you have a variety of action options and you have a variety of ways to make points.
You think it's a point salad? I think it's a couple ways, but it's not.
Well, okay, maybe it's not quite a point salad, but I think that
it's a salad with just a couple ingredients.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now there's some point salad games that got all kinds of ingredients, like Batoku.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay. I agree with that.
Yeah, but the thing about transmissions is like you're all sharing the robot.
Now that was a unique mechanic for me because I'm used to
Having your own workers.
yeah, so sharing the workers. And honestly, that can mess you up because you could be thinking, okay, next move, I'm going to move this robot, but then one of the other
Somebody else.
players moves them to a whole nother spot. Now you got to come up with a whole different plan.
Yeah, so transmissions is pretty cool.
Yes.
You know. All right, and the other game we played was Yak.
Yes. Now, I first heard about Yak when Starla on Our Family Plays Games talked about how cute the little baby yaks were. So I agree with you, Starla. They are pretty cute.
Yeah, and she was like, you know, have you heard about yaks? And I was like, yeah, I already have it. You know, we just haven't got it to the table. So we played that one, and that is just a nice, cute game. It's not hard at all. It's very easy. You're just moving the yaks around and trading goods for other goods and trying to build up your tower. And it's just really, really simple.
Yes.
You know, so you could really introduce this to a bunch of people.
Yes.
All right. So I think those are the 7 games that we played.
Okay.
All right. Now, so actually, there's one more that you didn't play, but we played at your family get-together on the 4th of July. We played Green Team Wins.
Okay, yes.
Now, I played that twice. Played that with her family, and then I played it with my Tuesday game group. And that game is so much fun. I'm telling you, some of the questions that come up is so hilarious. Like, we had a question that was like, pick one of 3. And it's like, who would you think would accidentally give up Batman's secret identity? And it was like Robin, Commissioner Gordon, or the Butler.
I think Robin won.
Yeah, well, yeah. So everybody was like, you know, somebody commented like, "Oh, this is a no-brainer" or whatever, and he wrote Commissioner Gordon. Everybody at the table wrote Robin, and they was like, "Well, how would you think Robin?" Like, first of all, Commissioner Gordon doesn't know who Batman is, if you think about it, and Alfred, that's the Butler's name. Alfred ain't messing with his money. So he is not going to accidentally. So we all put Robin, and we got on the green team. And so, I mean, that game is so much fun.
It is fun.
You know, the other game I played on the boat, and I played this solo, was Let's Make a Bus Route, the dice game. You know, I played that a couple of times. And that's just a really unique thinky game. I really like that game.
Okay.
All right, so now these next games are games that I played with my Friday night board game group.
Okay.
Okay, and I think you can speak on one of them.
All right.
All right, so the first game is Terraforming Mars.
Okay.
You know, we played because one member of the board game group, he actually had never played it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I mean, this game is like in the top 10 on Board Game Geek.
Okay.
Top games or whatever. It's in the top 10. And I love Terraforming Mars. Terraforming Mars is a really fun game.
Okay.
You know, now because I love it enough I had invested in those the upgraded 3D pieces that you put out on the board.
All right.
You know, and so they have another version of Terraforming Mars called Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition, which I hear is really, really good. And people say they'll play that instead of Terraforming Mars.
Why?
Well, I don't know. I'm never going to play it. And the reason why I'm not going to play it because I invested in my 3D things.
Okay.
So dang it, I'm going to play with my 3D.
Okay.
You know, so, you know.
All right.
You know, maybe one day. I don't know. But
All right.
the next game is probably my favorite game that I played. And that is Space Station Phoenix.
Okay.
Space Station Phoenix is so fun. It's like you are trying to build up your space station, but you have some ships and you have to dismantle the ships in order to get steel in order to build up your space station. So you're getting steel in different ways. But the thing is, your ships is where you go do actions. So you can dismantle your ship, but then you won't be able to do that action anymore.
Okay.
The thing is, you can also go on other people's ships, but you have to pay them some money in order to use that action. And of
Okay.
course, you're blocking that action away from them.
Okay.
And so, like, in the beginning of the game, everybody was dismantling their ships so they could build up their space station.
Yeah.
I was getting still other ways,
Yes.
but then it got to the point where everybody kept giving me money to come use my ships. And I'm like, well, I want to use my ship.
Yeah. See, that would annoy me. That would annoy me.
But it was fun. You know, I did pretty well in that game.
All right.
Space Station Phoenix is a really fun game.
All right.
You know. The next game we played is one that you love
What?
because they had never played it, and that's Creature Comforts.
Yeah. I like Creature Comforts. It's honestly, it reminds me of Everdale, but it's more entry level. It's more kid friendly.
Yeah, it's not as stinky, but at the same time, I love that mechanic where your dice, it's a dice worker placement, but you also have your workers. So in the game, you're putting your workers out onto the board where you want to make, those are the actions that you want to take. But then depending on the roll of the dice, can you take them?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
now you got to send the dice out there. And if you don't have the dice, then
You can't
lesson
do it.
learned.
Yeah. But at least you don't totally lose because you at least get a lesson learned.
Yeah.
And you can use that for something later in the game.
Yeah, and like I said, that game is so comfortable.
It
Because
is.
when you look at those cards, that art is so great.
Yeah, I like the suit. I love the suit.
Yeah, so now the next game that we played is Northgard Uncharted.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's like they say it's a 4X game.
So, what is 4X?
Well, okay, so it's like expand, explore, exterminate, and exploit. I think that's what it is.
That sounds like history to me.
You know, so it's the dudes on the map. You're building out your land, placing tiles, kind of like Carcassonne style, and you're putting dudes out onto the map. And you're controlling your different territories, building out buildings or whatever. But you can go over, you score points for how many territories you own. So sometimes you might have to go into somebody else's territory and fight.
Sounds like history to me.
Yeah. And I'm not a big dudes I'm not an area control guy. It's some games that have area control that I enjoy. And this was okay. If you like area control, this game is great. I mean, the components is great. I love the little miniatures and all that. So this game is really cool.
Okay.
It just wasn't for me.
Okay.
You know.
All right.
It's one more game. I'm sorry. I got to look at my chart. Wait a minute. I may have talked about all of them. I think that's it. Yeah, I thought it was 4 games I played with them. Oh, no, it was. I said Creature Comforts. That was. All right, so those are the games that we played in the month of July.
Now we're going to talk about GenCon.
Yep, GenCon was great. Like I said, we decided to go on the last day. I finally had a day off, and I was like, let's go to GenCon. And so it's only 4 hours away, and we went, and we got there, what, about?
We actually parked the car at 11:30.
Yeah, and then we got in there at 12.
Yes.
And I mean, the thing was, it wasn't, of course, GenCon is where publishers introduce all the new games that's coming out. And it wasn't about getting the games at that point because more likely they all sold out. You know, there were 2 games that I really wanted, and of course they were sold out. One was a Terracotta Army from
Okay.
Board and Dice.
Okay.
And then the second one was a game called Evergreen.
So now what's Evergreen about?
Now, Evergreen is made by the same guy that did Photosynthesis.
Okay.
But it's pretty much the same premise. You're trying to build up your biosphere. I
Okay.
think that's, and you're playing these cards. And
Okay.
you know how I feel about my nature themes.
Yes.
You know, I love my nature themed games. And
Yes.
the pictures I've seen of the game I'm really interested in this game.
Okay.
All right, so, but like I said, it wasn't about the games. It was about just seeing people face to face.
Yeah.
You know, there were some people that I wanted to see that I was hoping to run into that I really enjoy, you know, spending time with them because we met them in person, and this board game community is just so
welcoming.
You know, like, so with the first people I have to mention is, you know, when we first got there, I called him. I called Tim.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Tim from Meepleville in Las Vegas.
Yes, you know, and
it is always a treat to see Tim.
Yeah, and I called him to let him know we made it, and we sitting there talking on the phone, and we were like a booth away, you know?
Yeah. Yes.
You know, so it was fun seeing him. Every time we go to Las Vegas, I'm always going to Meepleville.
Yeah.
Just to kick it with Tim.
Yeah.
He's a cool guy.
Yes.
Let's see, Amy and Maggie.
So we saw Amy and Maggie from Thinker Themer, and we actually saw them right before we left.
Right.
So that was really cool. We also saw Jazz from Hobby of Lobbies.
Lobby of Hobbies.
Lobby of Hobbies. I'm sorry, Jazz. And I had never met Jazz in person, so that was a treat for me.
Yeah, I had seen Jazz I met him first at Origins 2021, and then I saw him at PAX again.
Yes.
And then to see him again, and we always keep in touch every now and then. He's a great family man, so it was really great seeing him.
It was, and honestly, I'm usually good about remembering the names of people that I meet. I don't know why I wasn't this weekend. We met some of our YouTube viewers, and I apologize. I do not remember your names, but we appreciate meeting you.
Yeah, it was fun just knowing that we are actually reaching people.
Yes.
You know, because pretty much what we're trying to do is, you know, bring board games to the masses, like to a wider audience.
Yes.
Like, hey, try these board games. Connect with your families, connect with your friends. Here's some things that, you know, you could really enjoy, you know. And it was fun meeting some of the publishers. Like, we met Helena at
Yes.
Kids Table Board Games.
Yes.
You know, we went over there and we got an overview of Maple Valley.
Yes. Yes.
Like they said, she loves Creature Comforts, and Maple Valley is like the sequel.
Yes.
And it's more of a hand management type game. We got an overview, but we didn't really get a chance to play because, like I said, we only had like 4 hours to try to see everything.
We didn't even have a whole 4 hours.
But it was great meeting her. I met Danny at Hatchet Games. She used to work for Pandasaurus. Now she's over at Hatchet, and it was fun meeting her in person. The guys, so I did a heads up video for a game called Doomlings, you know, and they were there with their game, and it was fun meeting them in person. And we just met so many people, you know, hanging out with the guys at Dice Tower, Tom Vasso, and guys, I don't know why I cannot think of it, Roy Kennedy.
Yes.
And meeting Chris Yee and his wife, you know. Tim started Meepleville, the more Meeples the merrier, over on Board Game Geek. We were doing that for a while, and it was me, Tim, Chris Yee, it was Ruel, Amy and Maggie was on there, and Jazz, and that's how I met them. And like, it was just, they're just really great people, all of them, you know. Now, we didn't get to see everybody. And if somebody I'm forgetting, oh yeah,
Stella.
Yeah, Stella. Oh, I met Stella from Meeple University. Her and her husband, Terrence, I'm hoping I'm saying his name right. They do their great, you know, they do board game videos, and they really do a great job explaining the games, playing the games, and then when the game has a certain theme, Stella will go all in. You know, and Jesse from Crackalope.
Oh yeah, we ran into him.
You know, I got a duck. You know,
I got a duck too.
And so, well, enough about if we're forgetting anybody, we're sorry. You know,
charge it to our heads, not our hearts.
But we definitely want to talk about some of the games we got. So, like I said, I wasn't able to get those first 2 games I mentioned, but the one game I did want to get, and we actually did a playthrough, and I'm glad I picked it up, was Kites. Kites is fun. It's a beautiful game. You're flying kites cooperatively, and you're using sand timers to try to keep the kites up in the air. And when you play a color, well, I'm not going to go too far in it because we're going to talk about this soon. Now, my wife, she says this game is stressful. But the Kites is really good. You know, we got Nacho Pile. This is a fun little novelty, push your luck game. You trying to fill your plate with nachos. You know, that, and this is really cool. We went over to Uproarious Games, and they are the guys that did the Grand Carnival, which is a tile laying game that I really love. And they actually gifted us a couple games. The first one was this one, Getaway Driver. Now, I was interested in this because one of my favorite games on the PS1 was Driver. And in this game, you're an undercover cop, but you're trying to escape the police. So it was fun just driving the streets, getting away from the police. You know. Now, the other game was right up, like, my wife didn't know anything about it, but she just saw the name.
Word domination. Yes.
And she was all in. You know.
I'm excited to play that game.
Right. So another game, Ghosts of Christmas. So this is a trick-taking game. And I've been trying to collect a bunch of trick-taking games because in my efforts, I know a lot of people know about spades and hearts, you know, trick-taking. So it's something they can relate to. So I've been trying to get a good amount of trick-taking games so people can draw people in to these type of games, more into board games. Jazz gifted us that old wallpaper.
Thank you, Jazz.
So I'm interested in checking this one out. This is just card matching.
I thought it was a tile laying. No,
it's
card
cards.
matching.
Cards.
Okay.
You know. One of my favorite games this year, Ark Nova. So, got the Ark Nova map.
Is that an expansion?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just a map, you know, just different maps to play with.
Okay.
We went over to Arcane Wonders, talked to Robert, you know, Gesslinger, their marketing guy. And he's a really cool guy. And Picture Perfect is one of our favorite games to get to the table.
Picture Perfect is a good game.
Yeah. And so he gave us this expansion.
Now, the cool thing about this is it makes it a murder mystery. Now you're trying to, now it's a whodunit, and you're trying to figure out who done it.
Yep, and she was all in. She was like, oh, okay, now we talking. You know. Next game. Bought this over at Miniature Market. Went to see what they had in San Francisco. So Rainer Knizia, who's a great board game designer, and you're building up streetcars. Got little miniature streetcars and all that.
I'm actually looking forward to this.
Yeah, I'm interested in this one.
Yes.
Now, one game that we got, it's a game that I saw in at Origins 2021, and they only had the demo. And I was like, my wife would probably like this game. So when she saw it, she was like, I want this game. You know?
So I'm very interested in this game. I like the theme. It reminded me of Pandemic.
What's the name of the game?
The Spiel. And I like that you're trying to minimize the ecological damage of an oil spill. So that's a theme that resonates with me. So I really wanted this game. So I'm looking forward to playing this game.
Yeah, we're going to get this game to the table.
Yeah.
You know, I was interested in it too. Just the idea. And it got, you know, animals and all that. So it got a little nature. You're trying to save nature. You know. So the last game that is a game that I have been interested in, but I didn't know if my wife was going to play it with me because I love fantasy, you know. And so I was interested in the theme of this game, and that is Familiar Tales. So Familiar Tales, we are playing as forest critters in in a fantasy world rather, who have come across this baby, and we are trying to protect the baby and raise the baby protect the baby from this wizard who's trying to take over the world. And the decisions we make affect how the baby turns out, you know. And I just like the idea of this, you know. Magical creatures vie for the fate of a child. That just sounds epic.
Well, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes.
You gonna play this with me?
Yeah.
Oh man. All right. So I'm excited about that now. So anyway, like I said, that's what these are the games that we got from GenCon. We loved GenCon, even though it was just one day, about 4 hours, and I just like that decision that we made.
I think it was a good decision too.
Yeah. So, if you like the contents of this video, feel free to hit the like button. Subscribe. I can be found on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We can be found, rather. I'm sorry. I always say I can be found because I'm the one that always, post stuff and everything. So, I'm Dwayne.
I'm Alicia.
This has been Blackboard Gaming.
We will see you next time.